Well, a very good evening to you and many thanks for joining us on this 16th day of August 2023, a day when President William Ruto officially opened the Devolution conference where the country is marking 10 years of devolution. Now, as devolution bore fruit for you and for your country or not, have you felt the effects of devolution? Some of the key functions that were devolved include health. Now, has that changed? Has there been a difference for the 10 years that we've had devolved units or not? Now again today, Uasin Gishu Senator Jackson Kiplegat Mandago was arrested in connection to, of course, the Uasin Gishu Finland education saga. Parents decried being defrauded millions of money, and today Jackson Mandago and three others, that is Joshua Lele, Joseph Maritim Kipkemboy and Meshach Rono, were arrested. And of course, this was after the DCI and the MUKURU law courts issued a warrant of arrest against the four. Now, this is in connection to what the charge sheet read is, of course, misappropriation of around 1.1 billion shillings from the Uasin Gishu Education Trust Fund. That was, by the way, set on, or rather in March 2021. Remember, parents have been threatening to paralyze the Devolution conference, and today, by the way, on his way to opening the Devolution conference at the Eldoret Sports Club, President William Ruto talked about that particular scandal, and he alluded to those who had embezzled public funds of those parents who sold their lands or sold their cows to ensure that their kids can be able to get better education abroad, will pay for their sins. Whether the money will be refunded from wherever they will get the money from, they have to refund the money to the parents. Those are the sentiments of President William Ruto today in Eldoret. Remember, you can watch this bulletin live across all our social media platforms. Those two stories, by the way, are part of the stories that we've prepared for you tonight on the Insight here on Lookuptv. First of all, let's have a look at what's making headlines tonight.
Tonight on the Insight, Uasin Gishu Senator Jackson Mandago arrested in Eldoret over the Finland scholarship scandal.
Ajipange kulipa mapema ama ataingia mtabani. Sindio? Hakuna maneno ya kubembelezana.
Refund the money. President Ruto orders officials involved in the botched Finland scholarship program.
Any person implicated in the loss of public funds must encounter the punitive consequences of their action in full.
And President William Ruto warns counties to tame their appetite for public funds as devolution turns 10.
Now, welcome to the program. I am Ian Kitani, and our sign language interpreter is Josephine Auko. We kickstart this bulletin with matters at devolution, and President William Ruto has admitted that there is a deep-rooted corruption embedded both at the national government and the devolved units. The head of state says that this high level of corruption is derailing the success of devolution and that the embezzlement of public resources is frustrating delivery of key projects and services to Kenyans. In his speech while opening the annual Devolution conference that marked 10 years of devolved systems of governance, President Ruto has now issued a stern warning to all those elected leaders engaged in corruption vices that they will be dealt with firmly and mercilessly regardless of their status in the society or political affiliations. Our reporter Henry Tende files the following story.
In his speech while officially opening this year's annual Devolution conference to mark 10 years of devolved governance, the head of state, President William Ruto, is concerned with poor governance and endemic corruption at county level.
It was never the spirit or intent of the people of Kenya to devolve corruption, mismanagement, and malpractice to counties. Yet, many counties have evolved into notorious epicenters of wanton looting, with everyone from the executive to the county junior staff implicated in a wild free-for-all at the expense of essential service delivery.
With corruption identified as an impediment to service delivery, President Ruto says his government is more than ready to face the problem head-on.
It cannot be business as usual, friends. And this fight, we have to lead it from the front.
The head of state wants a multi-sectoral approach in the fight against corruption and embezzlement of public resources and has demanded that the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission (EACC), the Office of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, that of the DCI and the National Police to up their game to unearth cases of corruption.
Regardless of position, office or status, any person implicated in the loss of public funds, whether in the national or devolved government, must encounter the punitive consequences of their action in full.
He has also issued a warning to all elected leaders who have an urge of plundering public resources that they will be dealt with mercilessly.
It cannot be the case that we lose revenue, that we cannot deliver public service because a few people decided to go away with public money. It's not going to happen. It's not going to be business as usual. We will do whatever it takes. Whoever it is, whatever office you occupy, whatever friends you have, it will not be business as usual. I want to say that with clarity because I know in here we have very senior officials of both county and national government, so that when whatever happens, let nobody say, I wasn't given notice.
As the infighting between the national government and the county governments over the delay in handing over all devolved functions to counties, President Ruto now says his government is working to have all the functions handed over in the next 2 months.
We have finally agreed on the functions that should be transferred. An analysis is going on the funding that will accompany the transfer of those functions. And I am told that in the next 60 days, we should be able to transfer all the remaining functions to our counties.
Furthermore, he has made a commitment to disburse equitable revenues to counties expeditiously.
I intend, to the extent possible, to keep to this schedule so that counties can manage their issues, deliver on their mandate, serve the people at the grassroots, roll out their programs, implement their projects in a timely manner and in a way that benefits people at the grassroots.
Henry Tende, Lookuptv.
Well, just like you've heard, corruption was the main issue, or President Ruto's main concern. As a country, we continue to talk about corruption day in, day out. But the question is, will we be able to get rid of this particular issue that continues to derail development not only at the national level, but as well at the county level? Talking about devolution and corruption. Yes, devolution has its own benefits, came with a lot of good things. But one of the key issues and one of the biggest bone of contention surrounding devolution is devolved corruption. Did we as well devolve corruption from the national level? Because today, there are governors who are in office and they still do have questions to answer regarding embezzlement of funds. We'll just look at a few of them. Few governors who are no longer governors as we speak, but they are facing, or they're still facing charges, or they're being accused of misappropriating county funds. The first one is the first governor of Nairobi County, Evans Odhiambo Kidero. Governor Evans Odhiambo Kidero was accused to have misappropriated around 213 million shillings. Public funds for that case, here in the capital, Nairobi. Another person is Governor Dado Godana of Tana River County, who allegedly misappropriated 248 million Kenya shillings. Now, Godana Dado is one governor whose administration was accused of procuring motorbikes at a cost of 600,000. A motorbike, a single motorbike at 600,000. They surpassed someone who had offered to, of course, sell those motorbikes to the county government at a cost of 60,000 to buy them at 600,000 each Kenya shillings. Another governor is Governor Okoth Obado. Former Governor Okoth Obado of Migori County is said to have embezzled around 256 million Kenya shillings during his tenure as the governor of Migori County. Governor Ali Korane of Garissa County also is on the radar, having allegedly misappropriated around 235 million shillings. Finally, because I just took 5 of the former governors who were accused of embezzling public funds, and Mwangi Iria of Murang'a County, the former governor, is accused of embezzling around 543 million Kenya shillings. If you look at all those figures, huge amount of money. Question is, will those funds be recovered or not? Your guess is as good as mine. Most of these cases end up going nowhere. Cases just collapse with no proper explanations. And some of the instances, by the way, that bring about these cases of embezzlement of public funds in county governments include the compromised county public service boards. County public service boards have been on the spot, and of course they're compromised because these public service board, the members are appointed by the CEO of the county, who is the county governor. Most of them, and by the way, a report by EACC alluded that, and this is a statement made by Twalib Mbarak, is that all the 47 counties, ever since inception, have cases of corruption, some a backlog of cases. Now, irregular procurement. Procurement has been a key issue in the country, and if at all we cannot be able to fix the procurement process in this country, then corruption will be, or will continue to be, the order of the day. As well, irregular employment of unqualified personnel was termed by Twalib Mbarak in that report as the instances that lead to these cases of corruption. Awarding of kickbacks through proxies or proxies on through proxies. This is a case whereby the county governments, through, of course, or under orders of these governors or chief executive officers of the county governments, award tenders or order that tenders be awarded to the companies or of their relatives or people they do know. And of course, they get kickbacks from that. And of course, lastly is the inflated price of commodities. For example, the case of Tana River County, where they bought a motorbike at a cost of 600,000 Kenya shillings. As we finish, one big concern with county governments or devolved units is the issue of pending bills. Because pending bills, and by the way, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua did allude to last week that the cabinet had approved to form a pending bills committee to look at how genuine these pending bills were, because if a new regime comes in, they find huge amount of money in terms of pending bills that they have to pay. Just to look at the counties that of course have the highest number of the highest amount of pending bills, that is Nairobi County with 106 billion that is in pending bills. Wajir County 5.59 billion in pending bills. Kiambu County 4.98 billion in pending bills. Mombasa County 4.97 billion shillings in pending bills, and of course Machakos County that has around 2.88 billion in pending bills. Now, what causes these pending bills? Of course, there is the disbursement of funds from the treasury to the county government, and of course sometimes there's the issue of the funds not being released on time. And the president alluded to his administration will ensure that all county funds are disbursed in time. Remember, the July funds were disbursed before the end of the month, and the president was very categorical in saying that going forward, all counties will receive their money in time, just to ensure that we can be able to tackle this issue of pending bills. As well, there is the issue of diversion of funds meant for particular projects or meant to pay pending bills. The funds are being diverted to other things. Question is, why would the county chiefs and the county governments divert funds meant to pay these pending bills to other projects? And I beg, or maybe I beg to believe or tend to believe that that is one of the concerns and one of the questions that the government and the cabinet seeks to get answers to through the formation of the pending bills committee, just to investigate and understand how genuine are these pending bills. Will money or was money misappropriated, or money that was supposed to, of course, pay these pending bills misappropriated or not? And as I wrap up this particular story is that if at all the president keeps his word, and you might say President William Ruto might talk about fighting corruption, but for him it's just to say there are agencies that are concerned with matters corruption in this country. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the DPP, the DCI, all those agencies need to come together to ensure that they can be able to tackle this issue once and for all. Because in the country we're used to scandals left, right and center, but at the end of the day, nothing happens. You can remember the most recent scandal, that is in the national government under the Ministry of Health, the mosquito nets tender scandal. People were sent home, some were sent packing, but to today, no one has been taken to court or has been arraigned in court to answer to charges of misappropriation of funds. So ESCC, DPP, over to you. Now, moving forward and onto matters embezzlement of public funds, Uasin Gishu Senator Jackson Mandago has been arrested following a warrant issued by the MUKURU locals and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. Mandago and 3 others are accused of misappropriating millions of funds in the Finland and Canada education program that saw hundreds of parents part with millions of shillings to see their children pursue their studies at various universities across Finland and Canada. Let's have a look at that particular story.
Wednesday morning, the Directorate of Criminal Investigation issued a warrant of arrest against Senator Jackson Mandago, with the former governor refuting claims that he had gone into hiding after the warrant was issued. Despite Mandago being the host senator for the Devolution conference in Uasin Gishu County, he was arrested in Eldoret and driven to DCI offices in Nakuru County, where he was grilled before being taken to Central Police Station in Nakuru. Mandago and his co-accused Joseph Kipkemboi Maritim, Joshua Kipkemboi Lele and Mesha Krono are accused of misappropriating at least 1.1 billion shillings from the Uasin Gishu Education Trust Fund between May and September 2021, funds meant for study programs overseas. His arrest comes days after parents who had deposited funds into the funds trust decried being defrauded millions of money by the county government, forcing former Governor Jackson Mandago and the current Governor Jonathan B. Chelilim to hold sessions with the parents who had threatened to paralyze the Devolution conference. The Uasin Gishu Overseas Education Trust Scholarship Bank account was opened in March 2021, with the 3 co-accused Joseph Maritim, Joshua Lele and Mesha Krono named as signatories. Investigations by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission discovered that Mesha Krono, the county's director for education, allegedly withdrew 18.3 million shillings, followed by Maritim Joseph, the county's chief officer for education, who allegedly withdrew 14.4 million shillings, and Joseph Lele, the chief officer for vocational training, who allegedly withdrew 5.6 million shillings. Of the funds deposited by the parents, Excellence University received at least 145.8 million shillings, Tampere University receiving 113.7 million shillings, Stanberg University received 7.5 million shillings, with LUT University receiving 6.5 million shillings. Senator Mandago is expected to spend the night in police custody before being presented in court to answer to the charges against him. Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
Well, there you go. Senator Mandago is expected to, of course, be arraigned before court to answer to the charges. On that note, we take a short breather. We'll be back with more stories, including President William Ruto's stern warning to the Uasin Gishu County government officials who embezzled those particular funds. Don't go away.
Karibu mtazamaji kwenye kipindi cha jamii na itikadi. Kaini kitako, tuna mengi.
Mapenzi yanapoanza watu huitana baby na majina mengine matamu matamu, lakini baadaye penzi linapogeuka na kuwa shubiri,
mtu anafikia kwenda kumtafuta mke mwingine.
Itakuwaje?
Yule wa kwake nyumbani labda hajamridhisha.
Ni sawa ama vipi Malkia?
Dadangu, wanaume ni kama maembe.
Huyu ni mwanamume atakuja abadiliki.
Mwanaume mwenye wanawake wengi hata katika uchumba, kwenye ndoa ataendelea. Mtu na tabia yake hawachi. Ile umbo la kike likishaanza, kila kitu kishaanza kuwa mahali pake.
Ningependa kukuona.
Sijaenda mahali ambapo mimi nilisikia mtu ati huyu alikuwa shujaa, alikufa katika mstari wa mbele wa ndoa. Sijawahi sikia mimi.
Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali na manjoro. Every Sunday saa 10. Jiunge na mimi ili nikufundishe mengi kuhusu ukulima wa nyanya, wa mboga, kuweka ng'ombe, kila kitu ambayo inahusikana na ukulima, ili ujifundishe mengi, uweze kujua ukulima pia ni mali. Kumbuka kipindi ni nini? Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali na manjoro, upate hela.
Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, President William Ruto has finally broken his silence regarding the Finland and Canada scholarship fraud in Uasin Gishu County, a matter that has led to growing animosity between the residents and the county government. Ruto with the details.
After a long silence in relation to the scandal of scamming more than 1 billion Kenyan shillings from the parents and students of Uasin Gishu County, President William Ruto has finally broken his silence. Today, speaking in Eldoret town, the president has emphasized that the victims must get their full justice regardless of the suspects' leadership positions.
Kuna wazazi ambao wametoa pesa na pesa yao haijulikani iko wapi. Si ndio? Sasa mambo ya uchunguzi inaendelea. Wale wote, kama kuna mtu alikula hiyo pesa, ajipange kulipa mapema ama ataingia mtabani. Si ndio? Hakuna maneno ya kubembelezana. Pesa ya ng'ombe ya mtu ama aliuza shamba, lazima arudishiwe pesa yake. Lakini hapo mbele, wakati uchunguzi itamalizika, mimi nitaona vile tunaweza kusaidia wale watoto ambao wamehusika na hii matatizo.
The suspects of this fraud, led by Uasin Gishu County Senator Jackson Mandago, is now in police custody, awaiting for subsequent legal actions. This is after the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution gave him a warrant. Also speaking at the 10th Devolution Conference, Ruto has warned against embezzlement of public funds, warning that anyone found corrupt, especially in the counties, strong legal action will be taken against them.
Regardless of position, office or status, any person implicated in the loss of public funds, whether in the national or devolved government, must encounter the punitive consequences of their action in full. I expect the agencies concerned to move with speed and attend to the many cases of corruption that are festering in many counties, including Uasin Gishu County.
Ruga Ibal, Lookuptv.
Up to the agencies to swing into action and ensure that they can be able to curtail this big menace known as corruption. Now, the National Assembly Committee on CDF has opposed the abolishment of the CDF kitty in the Constitution following the ruling by the High Court last year, which termed the fund as null and void. Deputy Leader of the committee, Kassim Tandaza, who doubles up as the Matuga legislator, now wants the CDF to be fully incorporated into the Constitution. Mevin Getembe with that report.
Following the ruling by the High Court last year, which termed the CDF kitty is null and void, the National Assembly Committee on NG-CDF has opposed the abolishment of the CDF kitty in the Constitution, saying the funds have brought tremendous development changes in the grassroots. Mutuga Member of Parliament Kassim Tandaza, while speaking during the official opening of Vuga Girls Dormitory, stated that the CDF should be fully incorporated into the Constitution.
Lakini wananchi wameweza kujitamka, na sio hapa peke yake, kwamba ijapokuwa county wanatekana wewe wafanye, nao wana changamoto zao. Kwa mfano hizo mambo za sports, hasa kwa upande wa mashule, county huwa washughuliki na sports za shule, na wazazi hawana pesa za kuchanga waweze kuona kwamba hizi sports zinafanyika. Kwa hivyo wazazi wamependekeza kwamba iendelee, ijapokuwa tunajua pia kikatiba kuna hilo pingamizi. Kwa hivyo wakati tukienda bungeni baada ya kuchukua maoni, na hakika bunge litaweza kulainisha kabisa, tuone kwamba katiba na sheria ya NG-CDF hazina mtafaruku.
Parents have also supported the move, saying that CDF funds have helped in construction of dormitories and paying the school fees.
Na wao wameweza kuchagua mradi huu kama ni wa muhimu kwao, na hii ni kwa sababu tunajua sehemu hizi pia ni moja za sehemu zile ambao watoto wasichana wanapitia changamoto nyingi, kwa mfano ndoa ya mapema na pia pengine kupata hata mimba za mapema.
Ili bweni tulilojengewa hapa la wasichana linatusaidia kwa sababu kulikuwa na msongamano kwenye vile vyumba ambavyo vilikuwa tukikaa kwa ajili ya wanafunzi wetu wafanye masomo. Msongamano ule sasa umeisha kwa sababu tumepata nafasi kubwa ya kuwa wanafunzi wetu watalala vizuri, na watasoma vizuri, na shule yetu natarajia itapita vyema.
The board has also launched the construction of a junior secondary school, story building worth 7 million shillings, which is among the 4 CSR development projects initiated in Matuga constituency since the inception of CDF in 2003. Mevin Getembe, Lookuptv.
On to matters of sugar politics, and Minority Leader in the National Assembly, Opiyo Wandayi, has castigated the government for discontinuing sugar milling activities in the Nyanza and Western regions for 4 months, alleging that the move is sabotaging the region's economy. Stanley Lugaria gives us a detailed report.
The residents of MUKURU Kwanjenga are living in distress after tycoons put up their houses for auction without providing a court order for eviction, demolition or repossession of the land. The frequent threats have left them in fear of losing their property, despite President William Ruto's assurance that they will receive title deeds.
Seemingly infuriated by the government's move to stop sugar milling activities in the Nyanza Western region, Leader of Minority in the National Assembly Opiyo Wandayi has criticized the Agriculture and Food Authority in the country following an order issued to sugar milling activities in the Nyanza and Western regions for a period of 4 months to allow maturing of canes.
Nyanza and Western Kenya communities have over the years supported the change agenda and voted overwhelmingly for the azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition in August 2022. Now, these communities have remained steadfast in their quest for social, economic, and electoral justice and participated very, very actively in the recent protests.
Opiyo slammed the government for what he termed as discrimination in the distribution of subsidized fertilizers to the residents of Nyanza region after the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's claims indicating that the residents were busy protesting during the registration process.
Last week, we'll recall that we protested the deliberate steps to ensure registered farmers do not access state-supplied subsidized fertilizers. Now, we continue to believe that this denial of access to subsidized fertilizer is meant to drive a political agenda of the Kenya Kwanza regime.
Wandayi now say the government is politically harming the economic growth of the area in general through the actions.
We see a political pattern and agenda in the report by AFA which claimed that there would be a deficit of cane production, totaling 951,195 tons by June 2023.
The leader of minority said that following the order, no public mailing company is allowed to process sugar and that the services are solely performed by private companies.
According to that same report, Transmara, Butali, Naitiri, and Olepito sugar mills would have adequate cane supply. It does not add up.
What normally happens is that there are those people who create a sugar shortage intentionally, so that at the end of the day, and even the millers themselves, they want to be, yani wataki kufocus kwa mambo ya ku develop canes wasiage sukari, wao interest yao ni kuimport sukari. But in that bill ambayo tumetengeneza imeleta na hizo structures zote ambazo zitatusaidia mambo ya sukari, licensing of the, because it's only the sugar industry that right now as we speak doesn't have a regulation.
The opposition side in the parliament through its leader Opiyo Wandayi has castigated the move by government through the Agriculture and Food Authority to close down sugar millers in the Western and Nyanza regions. The opposition has also faulted the move by government to offer subsidies sparingly across the country. Stanley Lugaria, Lookuptv.
Thank you very much, Stanley Ligaria, for that particular story. Remember, it is from the privatization of sugar companies, a move that was dropped, or an ambition that was dropped by the cabinet, to the closure of the sugar companies for 4 months. And you've seen legislators from the Western Kenya region, led by Peter Salasia, fighting they're fighting to ensure that their people can be able to fend for themselves, as we all know that Western Kenya is traditionally known for the production of sugar through sugarcane planting. Now, moving forward, MUKURU Kwanjenga residents are living in fear of eviction despite the promise made by President William Ruto to settle the land crisis and issue them with the title deeds. Now, the residents claim that they have been receiving threats of evictions from tycoons eyeing the land late at night.
The residents of MUKURU Kwanjenga are living in distress after tycoons put up their houses for auction without providing a court order for eviction, demolition or repossession of the land. The frequent threats have left them in fear of losing their property, despite President William Ruto's assurance that they will receive title deeds.
Nimekaa hii eneo la MUKURU kwa miaka nao 15. Na hii ploti ninayokaa ni ya ndugu yangu. Na all of a sudden mimi niliona tu kwa gazeti eti inakuwa auctioned. Na ni mimi niko kwa ground. Niko kwa ploti ndani. Sasa sijaona mtu yeyote wa kuniambia eti hii ploti ni yake, na kutoka wakati huo sijaona mtu yeyote amejitokeza kusema ni yake, lakini nimeiona kwa gazeti.
Edwin Mukoma, a member of MUKURU Kwanjenga Residents Association, stated that the fear of losing their land has made them unite to protect their property.
Ile auctions ambazo zinaendelea hazina orders kutoka kwa koti. Hizi ni mambo ambazo tunafuatilia kwa gazeti. Gharama auctioneers ndio wamepewa hii kazi. Wanaamka, wanakuja hapa, wanapiga nyumba picha, alafu wanapenda siku ya auction. Ikifika hata wenye nyumba hawajulishwi unless we mwenyewe umejionea kwa gazeti. Kama hujaona kwa gazeti, utapata nyumba yako imeuzwa na imeenda. Alafu hatimaye maguns ndio wanakuja usiku, wanafukuza tenants wale wako kwa hiyo nyumba. Na ndio tunasema tunaomba hiyo tabia ikwame, kwa vile pia administration unfortunately wanaelewa, wanajua kila kitu. Wakati hizi nyumba watu wanafukuzwa usiku, wengi wao ndio wanapeana security kwa hawa goons.
The residents of MUKURU Kwanjenga now say they have been finding the houses put up for auction in the newspapers and are calling onto the government to settle the land crisis and provide the residents with title deeds.
Niliona tu kwa gazeti. Sikuwa nimeandikiwa barua ya kuambia ati nyumba yangu itauzwa, na hakuna mtu alikuja kwa plot kusema niko na deni or anything. So mimi nilistuka tu, na ndio nikakuja hapa waniambie kwa nini wanauza property yangu.
Hadasa Crystal, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Dasa Crystal, for that particular story. Moving forward, stakeholders in the aviation industry led by the Transport and Allied Workers Union of Kenya have slammed KCA for denying its employees the right to join workers' unions in the country. Led by Dan Mihadi, Secretary General of the Transport and Allied Workers Union of Kenya, representatives claim that the workers in the aviation sector in the country are working in deplorable conditions, calling on related departments to address the situation.
We are trying to advance decent work within the aviation sector. Aviation sector is a forgotten area. There are no decent jobs in the aviation sector. And the people assume those people who are working in aviation are earning big salaries. As a union, we have tried to put CBS in some of the industries and some of the airlines, and tried to harmonize conditions of work, especially when just conditions. So the remaining part, we want to appeal to the government to take over, because that will give us an easy time as unions to negotiate for the workers in the aviation sector. We are collaborating this with the International Federation of Transport, ITF, and the Civil Aviation Organization, International Civil Aviation Authority, so that we see how we can bring harmonized working conditions in the sector. You will not believe that there are some employers in the aviation sector that are still paying their workers below. And there are some employers who still don't need unions in the aviation sector. We are sounding a warning, and we are saying we are coming, that you will not deny the workers their rightful, their rightful given in the Constitution. We are now going to other areas which are not organized, and the employers are hard on their members to join the unions.
What the union can do for us as members and also as employees, so it would be encouraged for anyone who is not unionized to join. It will be for your best interest.
But yeah,
Now, drama ensued in the outskirts of Kakamega town after an affluent man was found attempting to seize a half-acre parcel of land belonging to orphaned children. Police officers were forced to intervene and rescue the man, who claims to have purchased the land from the owners. Let's have a look at our county roundup.
As land ownership continues to be a serious issue in the country, Kakamega town today witnessed showers that almost turned fatal after a non-tycoon started fencing a piece of land belonging to orphans. Relatives of the children have denied claims by the suspect that he bought the land from the late Nobat Ndege.
Dada hajai tuambia ameuza shamba yoyote. Tumekuwa tukilima hii shamba kila wakati. Hata last time wakati dad tulikuwa tukilima nikamuuliza dad, hii shamba unaiona aje? Akasema hii shamba niko na vijana wawili, mmoja atamanage hapa na mwingine atamanage huku kwingine, atabaki kwa boma. Sasa anashangaa kuona ni nini inafanyika. Ani tunashangaa. Ani nashindwa, watoto wakishabaki peke yao ndio mtu anajitokeza anakuja anaanza kuclaim shamba ni yake.
Elsewhere in Embu, ward representative have approved a report of the budget and Appropriation Committee on the 7.7 billion county budget estimated for the 2023-2024 financial year, whereby each of the 20 elective wards benefit from 420 million shillings in ward equalizations project, a kitty pushed by the elected MCAs to implement identified priorities development projects.
Bajeti yetu ya mwaka huu ya county ni bilioni 7 na milioni 700. Kwa hii bilioni 7 milioni 700, 32% ambayo ni kama bilioni 2.9 ikielekea bilioni 3, hiyo ndio inaenda kwa development ama kwa maendeleo ya kila siku.
Finally, in the Coast Region, Deputy Police Commander Willie Kista Nayo and Head of Traffic George Kashimiri have started a process to sensitize drivers
and bodaboda operators about the importance of following road rules due to frequent accidents that occur on the Mombasa-Malindi highway.
Tumekuja na sababu moja ambayo ni road safety sensitization, kuhamasisha officers wetu na wananchi kwa jumla ambao ni wahudumu wa matatu, tuktuk na riders na hata wenye wanatumia barabara kwa mguu.
Faith Bonareri, Lookuptv.
Time to get sporty. And 3K Football Club from Embu County has launched a 5-year club plan with the aim of upgrading the club's standards to the national level. Part of the club's plan is to construct their own stadium and, of course, create a youth football academy to enable junior players transition to advanced levels. The launch, which was held in Embu Town, was presided over by Governor Cecily Mbarire, among others.
Tuko tunafanya 4 things. One, tuko tuna launch our strategic plan for the team. Yenye tuko na sisi kama 3KFC tuko na vision ya hii team yetu. Wale watu wenye wameweza kuangalia hiyo copy ya strategic plan, kuna zile vitu tume identify hapo kwa hiyo brand. So kuna some of the things that naweza guzia maybe ni in the next maybe 2 or 3 years from now. Tuna expect team yetu itakuwa na stadium, tuna expect team yetu itakuwa na academy. Pia tuko na some of the things kama ku infrastructure zetu za team. The other thing yenye tuko nafanya leo, tuko na launch a new kit yenye pia nyinyi najua umeiona.
Even my office is going to support you fully to ensure these young people who have a talent in football, they don't feel neglected and they don't feel left out. Tutashikana na wewe sako kwa mbako kuhakikisha hawa vijana wetu wa mpira wamesikia wako na serikali ambayo inawajali.
We want to come up with a team that can now face other counties in the Republic of Kenya. I am keen to have Embu shine in that platform, and I believe 3KFC has just started this journey for us. So we will be, and that's why we are putting money in sports. And we don't want to be doing this during elections. We are going to support youth, sports and talent all throughout the 5 years so that we can give our young people a chance to shine in the world.
Matters the Confederation's Cup and Kakamega Homeboys fans have urged Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba to facilitate the attendance fee during the CAF Confederation matches. The Kakamega boys will play Libya's Al Hilal Benghazi on 26th of this month in their first CAF match. Now, the Kakamega-based fans have also called on the county government of Kakamega to complete the construction of MUKURU Stadium.
Kakamega Homeboys tunaenda kuwashinda Al Hilal katika Nyayo Stadium. Mimi ningependa kuomba mashabiki wajitolee kwa wingi zaidi, na ujumbe hii pia imfikie waziri wa michezo nchini Kenya ambaye ni Ababu. Naomba atusaidie na tiketi karibu 1000 ya kuhakikisha mashabiki wa Nairobi na wa Kakamega wanajaza uwanja. Hizi tiketi zitanisaidia sana sababu wa vijana they need home support. Kwa hivyo kama hatutakuwa na home support, tutakuwa tunacheza home away from home. Kwa hivyo Ababu Namwamba, kando na tiketi, ningeomba pia timu yetu naona kidogo inaweza kuwa na ulemavu kidogo wa kusafiri. Kwa hivyo ningeomba chip in kidogo so that tuweze kupata ile kusafiri vizuri, kwa sababu unapata kwamba mechi ya kimataifa haifai tuende kama ni siku 2 ama 1. Buhungu inafaa ilete hizo game hapa. Na si unapomaliza Buhungu, Mr. Governor, hausaidii tu watu wa mpira. Angalia leo hii Al Hilal wamekuja Kenya, wanaingia leo, wanachukua hoteli siku 4. Hiyo ni biashara zinaingia Kakamega. Homeboys kipenzi, hakuna mwingine.
Now, Kenya Nationals Rugby Sevens head coach Kelvin Wambua was named a provisional squad of 35 players in preparation for the Africa Rugby Sevens tournament. Now, some of the names mentioned include Billy Odhiambo, George Auro and Samuel Asati, among others. The Africa Rugby Sevens Championship is scheduled to be held in Harare, Zimbabwe from 6th to 7th of next month. Well, the story of the Shujaa Sevens team wraps up our bulletin tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. Remember, tomorrow we'll be, of course, following up the Devolution conference as it enters its second day, where former Prime Minister Raila Odinga is expected to address the conference. And of course, Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President, will close the conference on Friday this week. Now, see you tomorrow for that particular coverage. Do have yourself a lovely night. And to everybody who made this a success, from the team behind the scenes, Josh Orondo, Sean, Alvin, Ian, Nasha, and of course our sign language interpreter, Josephine Oko. Thank you very much. God bless you. Do have a lovely night. God bless.